Why is Fantasyland at Disneyland so amazing? Let's take a look at that. Hey everyone, it's Kat from the Mouse Scout. Today we're going to take a look at Disneyland's Fantasyland and why it is so amazing. If Disneyland is the happiest place on Earth, then the heart of that happiness is Fantasyland. This land, more than any other, showcases Disney's early work in film, bringing to life the animation they so brilliantly innovated. Where else can you fly over London with Peter Pan, ride a flying elephant, and zip through the Alps? Only in Fantasyland. And Disneyland's Fantasyland is especially rich in detail, and it is so immersive. On Alice in Wonderland, you'll ride aboard a gigantic caterpillar on winding paths through White Rabbit's house, Tulgey Wood, and the Queen's Garden. You'll meet Tweedledee and Tweedledum, the White Rabbit, and the Queen of Hearts herself. But don't worry, you'll make it back in time for tea. Next, you can join the tea party, climb inside a huge teacup, and spin around under beautiful lanterns. But you know what? I think I will sit this one out. After your head stops spinning, be sure to stop into the Mad Hatter store to pick out your own hat for your unbirthday. They can even embroider your name on it here. Just around the corner from the Mad Hatter store is Mr. Toad's English Manor, Toad Hall. This ride is based on the Wind in the Willows scene from The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Your ride starts out in Mr. Toad's manor, but then you go outside to the English countryside for a wild ride. This ride does differ from the movie, however, in that Mr. Toad doesn't survive his wild ride. He collides with a train and is sentenced to Hades. Yes, this ride takes a dark turn, but you escape. We move from the English countryside to London, where with a little pixie dust, you can fly with Peter Pan. This is an original park attraction that opened in 1955, and because of its nostalgia factor, this is a favorite for both adults and children, making it one of the longest wait times in Fantasyland. You ride in a suspended pirate ship and glide over Big Ben on your way to Neverland. An interesting fact about this ride is that when it first opened, Peter Pan did not actually appear in the ride because you took on the role of Peter Pan and were flying from his perspective. But no one understood that, and finally in 1983 he was added to the ride. Across from Peter Pan is a magical beauty salon, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, where all the fairy godmothers are waiting to give enchanted makeovers. Kids between 3 and 12 can participate, so I am disqualified. Reservations are highly recommended and can be made up to 60 days in advance. Be sure to check out the Disney website for packages and pricing. That Wicked Witch is still after Snow White, and she watches everyone who enters her castle. You'll board a wooden mine train and accompany Snow White on her scary adventures through the haunted forest, the Queen's chambers, and her scary dungeons. But don't worry, you'll have the 7 dwarfs to help you through your journey. It is a bit spooky in parts of this ride, so be aware it might just be too much for some children. Just like Peter Pan, the original version that opened in 1955 did not feature Snow White, as you were experiencing the ride from her perspective. But in 1983, she was added. Despite Jiminy Cricket's sage advice, Pinocchio heads out on his daring journey, where he falls in with the wrong crowd and gets into a lot of trouble. But it all turns out okay, because when you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. I know that sounded cheesy, but it is my favorite Disney song. When you walk through Sleeping Beauty's castle into Fantasyland, the first thing you'll see is King Arthur's carousel. Hop aboard one of the 68 beautiful horses and just watch Fantasyland float by. This was one of the original attractions when Disneyland opened in 1955, and some of the horses are actually more than 90 years old. The carousel is especially beautiful when the sun goes down and the lights come on. And don't forget to stop and try your luck at King Arthur's Sword in the Stone. Behind the carousel is where the impossible happens. Elephants fly. With the help of Timothy Q. Mouse and a magic feather, Dumbo soars above Fantasyland. Hop aboard and enjoy the circus organ music while you float along with him. Next, you can let off some steam on Dumbo's train, Casey Jr. Ride behind the little engine that could while you go through the beautiful countryside. You'll see detailed miniatures along the way that may look familiar. But for a closer look of these beautiful miniatures, be sure to make your next stop after you get off the train, the Storybook Land canal boats. Casey Jr. is another original Disneyland attraction from 1955. And the sleigh-style train cars are actually from the merry-go-round that later became King Arthur Carousel. Now you can see those beautiful miniatures up close on Storybook Land canal boats. But first you are going to have to be swallowed by a whale. Float along a peaceful canal while you pass by detailed models of Arendelle, Cinderella's Village, Agrabah, Pinocchio's Village, Prince Eric's Castle, and more. The models use a scale of 1 inch to 1 foot. Whether you love it or you hate it, It's a Small World song is iconic. The Sherman Brothers originally wrote the song as a ballad, and if you listen to the lyrics, it's a song about peace. Take a moment before you enter the ride to appreciate the delightful facade, which is actually a clock that chimes every quarter of an hour, and 24 animated figures emerge to circle around the tower. It's a Small World was created for the 1964 New York's World Fair, and it was a huge hit. It took up permanent residence at Disneyland in 1966, and it's considered a Disney classic. Mary Blair was the art director for this attraction, and it reflects her unique childlike art style. Animatronic children from around the world sing the memorable song in 7 different languages. And there's a reason you will not be able to get that song out of your head. During a 16-hour operating day in the parks, the It's a Small World song is played on average of 1,200 times. So yes, you will be humming it days later. Looming over the horizon of Fantasyland is Matterhorn Mountain, where you'll climb into a bobsled and jet in and out of the mountain, through ice caves, and along jagged, rocky edges. Oh, and you are being chased by the abominable snowman. The Matterhorn opened in 1959 and was the first roller coaster to use tubular steel tracks. It was also the first to use an electronic dispatch system, which allows more than one car at a time to be on the track. Disneyland's Matterhorn Mountain is 147 feet high, and is 1/100th the size of the real Swiss Mountain, which is 14,700 feet high. This exciting and jerky ride lasts 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and the wait times last much, much longer. And if you get hungry when you're in the Swiss Alps, try Edelweiss snacks. They've got those huge turkey legs, chimichangas, corn on the cob, and soft frozen beverages. And behind Edelweiss Snacks is a quiet covered seating area that actually used to be the speedboat dock, which I guess was an attraction a long time ago. Next to the Sleeping Beauty Castle before you enter Fantasyland is Fantasy Faire. It's a charming European fairy tale village where you can meet princesses and princes. Be sure to look for Figaro, who's perched on a ledge next to a bird in a cage. And when the bird sings, Figaro awakens. Across from Royal Hall is the Royal Theatre. It's a medieval-style tent where thespian duo Mr. Smith and Mr. Jones direct their version of scenes from Beauty and the Beast or Tangled. Check out the board for showtimes. While you're in Fantasy Fair, be sure to check out Fairy Tale Treasures for your royal merchandise inspired by your favorite princesses. And if you get hungry when you're in Fantasy Fair, check out Maurice's Treats. They've got a cheddar garlic bagel twist that is really, really yummy. If you're looking for a meal in Fantasyland, your best bet is the Red Rose Tavern. It's a quick service location that serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner inspired by the flavors of French cuisine. Their breakfast menu includes buttermilk pancakes, breakfast flatbread, and scrambled eggs with bechamel sauce. For lunch and dinner, they have burgers, beef poutine, salads, and flatbreads. There's lots of seating available, and you can sit either in Gaston's room, Belle's room, or outside under lots of umbrellas. The decor here is really cute and really detailed. And be sure you look for the red rose. Tucked away to the right of Sleeping Beauty Castle is Snow White's grotto. Snow White and the 7 dwarfs sit on a beautiful waterfall. The wishing well was actually Walt's idea. They wanted a way to discourage park guests from tossing coins into the castle moat, so he suggested the wishing well. And it's also an easier way for them to collect the coins so they can be given to charity. So do you agree with me that Fantasyland and Disneyland is really amazing? Comment down below and let me know what you think. And if you liked our video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. We're going to continue to cover all things Disney and what makes Disney so magical. Until next time, have a wonderful week. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's all just designed for fun.